Namaste. Hamisha खुश रहो बेटिया. My name is JV'n Manisha Singh. Today I am teaching you impact of globalization and liberalization on MSME sectors. Then introduction. Globalization signifies a process of internationalization plus liberalization in which the world has become a small village due to the concept of globalization. The competition has become intense in every field. Nations fight with a game plan to sustain their economy by introducing new policies and announcing incentives to support mainly their economic indicators. After the world economy has opened to attack, the Indian economy has initiated to concentrate on the development of small industrial base, which had contributed positively to the India's GDP. India's gross domestic product growth is better than other developing countries with the developed small industrial sectors. Small scale industry and its importance. The definition of small scale sector is a broadened from small scale industries to small scale enterprises that include all business enterprises in the services sector which provide service to industrial sector in addition to small scale industries taking into account all these factors at present. Reserve Bank of India uses an expanded definition of small scale industries which include small scale industrial undertaking which are engaged in the manufacturing processes and preservation of goods in which the investment in plant and machinery not to exceed 5 crore rupees. These would include units engaged in mining or quarrying services and repairing of machinery. Tiny enterprises whose investment in plant and machinery do not exceed 25 lakhs rupees, power looms, traditional industries which require high workmanship and techniques, and also village and household industries producing common goods and consumption predominantly by using simple tools. The decentralized and informal sectors like handlooms and handicrafts, the industry related to services, business, enterprises, food and agro-based industries, and software industry. All are come under small scale industry. The development of small scale industries is being given due to importance by the government in order to achieve the following objectives. First is to provide additional employment opportunities. Second, to mobilize resources of capital and skill from various parts of the country. Third, to provide a more equitable distribution of national income. Fourth, to provide a helping hand to large industries and facilitate them in their work. Impact of globalization on small scale industries. Small scale industries have an essential role to play in socio-economic upliftment of developing countries like India. India initiated the economic reforms in 1991 with the objective of faster economic growth. Since the globalization process has been in vogue for the past 22 years, it becomes important to analyze whether the new economic order has had a positive or negative impact on the performance of SSIs in India. The decade of 1990s was marked by the considerable deregulation of industrial economy through delicensing and de-reservations, opening up the industrial sector to internal external competition, lowering of tariffs, removal of the quantitative restrictions, etc. These mere forms have an adverse effect on the small scale sector. Cheaper and good quality of imported goods are posing a serious threat to small scale units operating in various industries like toys, sports goods, footwear, auto parts, silk, etc. The most serious threat is being posed by the cheap Chinese imports as the so-called China price is forcing many small-scale units to close down. The cost of production in China are indeed very less as compared to India. It is no doubt correct to say that China is resorting to dumping to eliminate the competitor in other markets. Need and objectives of the study. To study the growth and development of small scale enterprises units in India, the and to study the impact of globalization on small scale industries unit in terms of growth rate, employment and industrial sickness to fulfill the gap so as to increase the productivity of the SSI units. Then database and methodology. In the present study, an attempt has been made to analyze the impact of globalization on the growth and the small scale industries For this, the growth pattern and some aspects of productivity in SSI sector in India have been calculated. The study has been conducted with reference to the data related to performance of small scale industries in India. The small scale industry sector has been studied with the belief that they hold the largest share of the industrial sector in the India. The reference period for the analysis of the data has been taken from 1973 to 1974 to 2006 to 2007. The study period has been divided into two parts: pre-liberalization, that is 1973 to 1974 to 1989 to 90, and post-liberalization, that is 1992 91 to 2006 to 2007, to know the impact of globalization after liberalization. For this, a comparative analysis of average annual growth rates for pre and post globalization periods have been carried out for new growth and performance parameters like numbers of units, production, employment, and exports. This study has been based on the secondary information. The data for the study purpose has been taken mainly from Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, Government of India, published by Reserve Bank of India in Handbook of Statistics on Indian Economy. What are the limitations of this study? All the indicators related to the growth of small scale industries has been computed from 1973 to 2007. In this 1973 to 74 to 1989 to 90, 17 years are taken under pre-globalization period, and 1990 to 91 to 2006 to 2007, 17 years are comes under post-globalization period. Means 17 to 17 years of performance of pre and post globalization has been compared. In this study, there are only one limitation, that in the case of exports, we are able to compare 17 to 16 years of pre and post respectively. Exports in 2006 to 2007 are not available. Growth of small scale industries in India pre and post globalization. The small scale industries play a very significant role in boosting the overall economic growth of an economy. The small scale industries set up by the entrepreneur in different states and union territories of India have contributed to be increased shares in overall production, fixed investment, exports. Recommendation are following are some of the measures to enhance the performance of SSI. The financial institutions need to be streamlined, the procedures, and provide instant credit. To provide continuous power supply to SSI units as provided to export units for smooth flow of production. To provide proper training inputs from professional institute and international trainees. To prevent of industrial sickness, quick revival steps need to be taken by the government. To provide essential infrastructure facilities to units located in rural areas. There is a need to promote professionalism in SSI units by adopting total quality management, quality circles, ISO certification, 100% encouragement for foreign direct investment. The process of globalization is an inevitable phenomenon in human history, which has been bringing the world closer since the time of early trade and exploration through the exchange of goods, products, information, jobs, knowledge, and culture. Globalization is the process of integration of the world into one huge market. It provides several things to several people with removal of all trade barriers among countries. Globalization happens through three channels: trade in goods and services, movement of capital and flow of finance. Globalization in India is generally taken to mean integrating the economy of the country with the world economy. The real thrust of the globalization process was provided by the new economic policy introduced by the Government of India in July 1991 at the behest of the IMF and the World Bank. Globalization has led to be an equal competition and a competition between giant MNCs and dwarf Indian enterprises. The small scale sector is a vital constituent of overall industrial sector of the country. The small scale sector forms a dominant part of Indian industry and contributing to a significant proportion of production, exports and employment. Therefore, there is a need to study and analyze the impact of globalization on Indian small scale industries. This paper focuses on the implication of globalization, analyze the performance of small scale industries based on number of units, employment, production, investment and exports on post liberalization. Then the aim of globalization. Globalization can be defined as the process of change, increasing interconnectedness and interdependence among countries and economies, bringing the world closer through better worldwide communication, transport, and trade links. This process is changing the world dramatically and quickly affecting economic, social, political, and cultural aspects of life. Globalization refers to an advanced stage of development where capital, technology, labor, raw materials, information, and transportation, distribution, and marketing are integrated or interdependent on a globe scale. Globalization is not a new phenomenon. In the immediate post-World War II period, globalization was mainly driven by the rapid growth in foreign trade, while in 1950s and 1960s, foreign direct investment started to play an increasingly important role in this process. Over the last 3 decades, and based on the global trend of trade and investment liberalization, the world economy has evolved into a highly integrated system. Today, globalization involves numerous features, but the following three seem to be a main engine driving global economic integration are internationalization of production accompanied by changes in the structure of production, expansion of international trade in trade and services, and widening and deepening of international capital flows. Then benefits and disadvantages of globalization. While globalization is a catalyst for human progress, it is also a chaotic process which offers both benefits and disadvantages to people across the world. Positive consequences of the globalization includes improvement in local productivity can promote prosperity, the movement and sharing of information, knowledge and expertise, the improvement of international standards for variables such as education and health, increases the variety of goods available to the world market and provides a bigger range of markets for internationally sourced product. Negative consequences of globalization include the loss of employment in manufacturing in developed countries, a drift toward a more homogenized culture and society internationally. Local economies may be more vulnerable to the fast changes in the international economy, increased centralization of power in the hands of large transnational corporations. The location of industries in less developed countries for many reasons often lead to environmental degradation. This is the classification of MSME, that is enterprises is divided into the two manufacturing enterprises and the service enterprises. Then ceiling on investment in the plant and machinery, whereas service enterprises is the ceiling on the investment on equipment. Okay, then micro, that is for 25 lakh rupees, 5 crore rupees for small, and 10 crore rupees for medium. Then in service enterprises, 10 lakh rupees for small, sorry, micro, small for 2 crore, and medium is 5 crore. Then conclusion. While globalization has put us on the map of super lower countries, SSIs have empowered the common man to walk with same stride on the as the big wigs. For India to be superpower, it is must make efforts to strengthen each and every thread of its economic fabric to make the flag of its success fly high. The conclusion is the overall performance and contribution of small scale industries to Indian economy is described in terms of its absolute growth in units, employment, production and exports. The MSME Development Act of 2006 perhaps is the most crucial of these recent policy changes. The growth of small scale industries can be evaluated into the two ways: to compare the growth rates of units, employment, output, and exports of small scale industries in 2000 with that of 1990s to ascertain the change in the relative contribution of small scale industries to GDP, exports and organized sector employment in 2000s with that of 1990s. The small scale sector has grown rapidly over the years. The period of liberalization and the development of MSME sector constituted an important segment of our company economy. MSMEs are a very important segment in the Indian industrial sector and would continue to play a crucial role in the Indian economy in the future. It is also brought in huge amount of foreign investments into the country and provided employment opportunities for many people in the country, which in its turn helped reduce the level of poverty in the country. A rewarding feature of economic development in India is due to the impressive growth of modern MSMEs. This hope this session you are satisfied with this session. This session is powered by digital version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. If you have any query, please mention it in a comment box and I will resolve in whenever I have a live session. Thank you so much.